There was a woman that supported him, and about 3 years ago, he was texting her and asking her to send videos of her, if you know what I mean, and that he would send the same thing. Now, remember, of course, he's married. And he said on his live this morning that, when it happened, he told his wife and he apologized. And as I said, I'm not getting in the way of the dynamics of that, that relationship. I don't even care about that. What I care about is this guy who sits there on his high horse and he calls so many people out for what he deems is wrong. And he tries to come across like this ethically and morally high ground of TikTok. He was absolutely texting this person and asking, for this stuff. And what made it 10,000 times worse is that when he went on his live today, he blamed it on her. When I read the text, and, it was a two-way street. A two-way street. I can always give you a shot. It's a two-way street. They were both involved in it. And when he said, I did what most men would do, meaning that he, started making these texts back and forth, I put a comment in there that said, no, most men do not react this way. And he read it and he said, okay, a lot of men or some men. And then I got blocked for it. It was the worst deflection I've ever seen in my life. And again, it's just another brick in the wall of how absolutely horrific he is. And, the funny thing is, and it will happen, I will tell you exactly what will happen, these people will still support him. And everybody has free will. Everybody has free will to follow who they want on here. We talk about, people talk about First Amendment to talk about what they want to. To me, First Amendment, I think, has parameters on it that a lot of people, cross over, and that's on them, and people can go into whoever's live they want, but, the stuff that he has done to people in the past, and then this comes out today, I'll tell you. I'm not shocked. And I'll tell you what, too. He said, after that happened, I learned my lesson. I became better, this and that. Why do I have a feeling there's people out there since 3 years ago that have similar texts? And if there is, please reach out to me. If there is, please reach out to me. Because with him, if more texts come out earlier than from 3 years ago, like in the past year or two, then he needs to get off this app. Because how you continue to lie about people and blame somebody today for it and then blame it on the fact that you're like every other man. No. You're a weak man who does not believe in what a marriage is all about. And that's my opinion, but I know based on what I've seen in a lot of lives, that seems to be a lot of opinions. In a way, if you guys know who Bernie is, Bernie's the same way. Bernie will get away with saying some horrible shit in a TikTok live And then, an hour later, she'll come back and apologize about it and say, oh, I wasn't in my right mind and I know what I did wrong. I did it because this person said this to me and it triggered me. And, she'll say all the right things. And then all of a sudden, she's off the hook again. She doesn't learn from it. All this shit keeps happening. And he's the same way. It's like all this shit comes out and it's like his shit don't stink. And I'm amazed. I'm amazed at the fact that there are people, after hearing, and I'm talking about his entire breadth of work, not even this, the whole package of what he portrays. I just shake my head. And again, I guarantee you there are other text messages out there. I guarantee it. Burning bridges, I don't know why you are floored. I mean, nothing surprises me. Nothing surprises me with him. Nothing. Yeah, I agree with that, Jody. When I first started listening to him, it was probably about a year ago, and I truly thought he was a pastor too. And I was like, you know what? I'd like to hear what this guy has to say. And all he did was he was going after somebody at the time that I didn't know. And it was Samantha. And when I started hearing his lives and I started watching them more and more, I realized that, there's something, this isn't what I want to be. I don't want to watch people tearing down people on a daily. Good morning. So, yeah, that's what it was, I'm sure if you do a search, you could find the text messages. He kind of fessed up this morning, burning bridges. He said that it was 3 years ago. He said at the time he, told his wife and apologized. And he said since then he's been a better man. But he fessed up to it, but he also blamed it on that she was the one who, kind of pursued it. He reacted as most men would, which would mean partaking in the texting back and forth. It was, did he take ownership? Kind of, sort of, but not really. He showed no attrition, let's put it that way. And like I said, I'm bringing it up because these people that sit there and try to portray themselves as something they are definitely not, he's not. He is not a good person. And, I've felt that way since probably end of summer last year. And then as I started hearing more and more and, seeing some of the people that are in his boxes, their behavior and all that, it was just like, these people need to be called out. But, I'll tell you, the one things that I can definitely say is that, I remember the numbers he used to have in his lives during his heyday, and they're nothing like they used to be. Unless there's some really serious BS drama going on, then he doesn't have many people in there. So, in that way, awareness works. Not only for people that are begging, but for people that do bad things on this app. So I have to say, I was just when I saw those texts, and and this woman came out and showed them on her live last night, and I give her credit for that, because she knew going into it that she was going to catch grief also, because as I said, they were both adults, and they both knew what they were doing. So it doesn't make one right or one wrong in the situation. They have to deal with their significant others. However those significant others dealt with it is how they dealt with it. But this is just another thing that he has to defend about himself. And you wonder, when do people finally just say, I've had enough? I mean, we talk about people that are in active addiction, and we always say, oh, well, they can't do anything until they hit rock bottom. And all of you guys have told me that have gone through that. Everybody's rock bottom is different. To be clear, look at Lisa. I mean, we all thought she was going to hit rock bottom like 7 months ago, and she's still at it. Everybody's rock bottom is different. So when do the 400 people in there in his lives, when do those people hit rock bottom with him and say, okay, this is it, I've heard enough? So, that blew my mind last night. Dora texted me. I don't even know what the hell time it was, but I got on and I was listening, and somebody sent me the screenshots, and it's crazy. It's crazy. And another thing that's been going on here that came out, and I want to word this very carefully. And part of me wants to be sensitive, and part of me doesn't want to, so I'm going to try to take the high road here, okay? I would say about 3 months ago, there's a person on here called TikTok Snark Streets, or Street Snarks, or something like that. And she started coming after me because, if I remember correctly, it was because I was putting stuff out about Petty. And she's a big Petty supporter. And, she, hey, there you are. There you are. Remember that? Remember when you were going after me? How you doing? How you doing, huh? I don't know, Jody. I'm going to be very
I
sensitive.
do for you.
I'm going to be very sensitive, okay?
You don't have to be sensitive with me, but I will warn you that I am not in a good mental state,
I know.
so I'm just going to let you know that from the door.
I was going to ask you, and I was going to be serious because I was in there this morning. How are you doing? Because I know.
I don't accept that from people that don't like me. What can I do for you?
No, I was just. I'll tell you exactly what I was going to say, and I'm glad you're in here because I will say it. You know, I know that Florida Man did some stuff that was pretty crappy. Okay, he's been doing that shit for quite a while on this app to a lot of people. Right? I mean, you've known that.
No, I don't tell me that I've known that. I didn't know that until my interaction with that man. I
So
have heard things. I have not followed him, his stories, his sagas, none of it.
you don't know any background about him, even though he's been in Petty's lives quite a bit.
You know what? Here's what I'm going to tell you. That I heard a piece of 13 story. I heard a piece of Scam Slams. And then I started listening to Skittles when everybody was telling her to shut the fuck up. That's when I got involved. Then I had an interaction with them, and here I am. I don't know what you want me to say.
No, what I'm saying is this, okay? A lot of people know a lot about Florida Man, okay? And we've seen his breadth of work on TikTok. Okay? He does this to a lot of people. And to be fair, if we want to talk about, people that do things on this app that probably aren't right when people go after people, it's going to happen someday to all of us, right?
What?
When people just start going after people, right? I mean, it happens.
I mean, it happens all the time. I really need you to get to the point. I feel like you're trying to educate me on something that I'm so educated on. I don't need any further help.
No, I have to say that, you a couple months ago went after me. Remember that? Remember?
Me a couple months ago, I gave an opinion on you. Go ahead.
You didn't give an opinion. Sorry. An opinion, you say an opinion and you go on. It happened for a while.
Scammclaus, did you not speak on me? Are we going to go back and forth like you sound, or you spoke on me, I spoke on you spoke on me worse? I don't know what to do.
Well, all I'm going to say is that, and I'm going to drop it because you're, as I said, you don't have to take my apology. That's fine. I hope you do get some peace. Okay. Do I agree with what?
I didn't even hear an apology. I must have disassociated.
Get it. One thing I can't stand are people that try to act so condescending. Act so condescending. Stop talking about me. You know what? You know what you could do, TikTok streets? Get the hell out of my life. Because you know what? I was trying to be sensitive. I was absolutely trying to be sensitive. Okay? So what I'm going to say is this. Yeah, passive aggressive at its finest. Listen, what I'm going to say is this, and I've said this a lot. What comes around goes around on TikTok. You're going to go after people. You're going to say things about people. You're going to have opinions on people. You can do that, but you know what? What comes around goes around. And what she's going through right now is a real thing. I'll give you that. That's why I'm trying to be sensitive. And I heard her on a live today and all that. And I am sympathetic to people that are in a dark place. Okay? I am. But I've said it before, and I have said it again, and I will say it till the day I'm off of TikTok. What comes around goes around. And when you say shit about people on this app, when you call people out because you want to do that, that's fine. But don't expect that someday it's not going to happen to you. Okay, take a look today with Petty, with all those text messages that go out. What comes around goes around. You know? Street Snark is in a difficult way right now. But, you know, if you look at the video she hasn't been an angel on this app either. And hell, I know I've done stuff that's wrong. Absolutely I have. And I've taken it. I mean, stuff has come at me. So, you know, so again, you know, I say it all the time, and I've said it before, and I got in trouble. I got in big trouble for saying karma about somebody. But you know what? I am a big believer in karma. Big. And when karma happens to me, that's karma. It's going to hit us all. It's going to hit us all. But it has been absolutely out of control. Out of control. I've never seen so many people going after each other. I have never seen so many people being so vile towards each other. I have never seen so many people being disrespectful and foul-mouthed. And I mean, it just goes on and on and on. And wow. I don't know how people can be in that mindset all the time. You know, I don't know. I don't know how people can do it. You know, with Sean, I can only take Sean in small doses because his whole thing is just exhausting. It is mentally exhausting. And to be in an angry mindset such as that all the time, I don't know how people do it. So crazy. You know, I got when Dora was in a live a couple nights ago. There were people in there, and you know, there were people trashing on people, blah 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 blah, and it's the same people that seem to be involved in a lot of conversations on TikTok, you know. And I went up there and I said, you know, is it possible that, you know, maybe you just don't reply back to somebody when they say something, you know? Or, you know, take the higher ground and just don't comment, just move on. Because if you don't say anything, then they have no response to it. And to finally wrap that whole thing up, you know, I had heard through the grapevine, you know, that somebody who I had considered a friend, Bougie, how she had one of her friends record a phone conversation that Bougie and I had. And, you know, I was like, I don't know about that. I don't know if that's really the truth. So, you know, I had reached out to Bougie and I said, you know, is this true? And no, it's not true. I never recorded any of our phone conversations. It's a lie. And I'm like, okay, well, you know, this person says that there's a recording. So, and she's going to send it to me. And she said it never happened. I'm like, okay. So last night in Leather and Laces Live, I was in there talking to her. And, I told her, to be honest, like, I'm not too psyched to the fact that you recorded these phone calls. I mean, it's not the best feeling in the world. But she played it for me. She played the recording. And, to paraphrase, Megan was on the line with Bougie. And she said, okay, are you recording? And Leather and Lace said, yeah, I am. I'll mute now. And then Bougie said, okay, I'm going to call Scam. So, Leather and Lace said, do you want me to stop it? I'm like, no, I just want to hear her talking to me so I know that, in fact, it's me and all this. So, we said hi to each other on the phone, and I knew right there that Bougie lied about it. I'm not going to go off on her. I mean, what's the point? What's the point? I'm not going to show text messages between us. What's the point? I mean, what comes from that? What comes from something like that? Nothing good. So that's it. That's it. I mean, good luck. I hope she, does well in life, whatever. I'm really disappointed I was recorded, and that's it. Yeah, she did. But, what I've always said on this is I don't believe what people say about somebody unless I see it firsthand. I want to see it. I want to hear it. Because there's so many people on this app that have axes to grind with everybody. You don't know if they're coming from a place of being unbiased or if something happened in the past between the two. You know what I mean? So, I like to see it with my own eyes. I like to experience what people say somebody does. Because then I can honestly say, yeah, this person is deceitful. And I know that now. And you move on. I said it before when I was teaching. We would have these department meetings, when the teachers would have to go in early to school before the kids. And we would get a list of all the special ed kids. And we would go through our class lists. And you would have teachers that would say, oh, you have that kid? Oh, that kid is a real pain in the ass. You got to watch it. Or, ooh, this girl, you got to watch her. She's like this, or she does this, or, this person's parents. And after, a number of years of hearing that, I finally said, you know what? I don't want to listen to this, and I don't want you to tell me how bad a kid is. I would like to see it on my own first, and I want to see if, number one, there's anything I can do to change that behavior. And if I can't change it, then yeah, you were right. But don't